I don't know how you would stop that. Like
The
concretely,
hyperproduction.
we should have not made this podcast
I mean, or we should
unless we're trying to spread the message and let the other guys stop making.
like we can idealistically, yes, we should make this podcast, but concretely we should have, like, there's so much things out there of people who have, I'd suppose, ideas that are not that constructive or not that beneficial or even
ours
and like we cannot know, maybe it is destructive what we are saying, but it doesn't feel that way, and we have at least
not
a reason.
destructive,
We have a reason to believe that our ideas are constructive, at least because you are a PhD philosophy.
but
I'm a master in
I don't think there's a
philosophy.
doubt of that.
Sorry,
Yeah, no, I think we need to doubt that we are constructive.
we need to
And
doubt,
much-
but at least
no,
we have
no, we
reason.
don't need to.
Oh, we don't need to.
Sure, we are constructive. Why not?
Yeah.
And a lot of other people are constructive as well. We are trying to. We are
Yeah,
all
I
trying to
don't
be
feel
constructive, but the result of us trying to be constructive
Is destructive?
is
Maybe.
not. No, I don't know if it's destructive, but it's creates a saturated
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff, and then you have a fast-paced lifestyle.
Yeah.
So we are part of the problem.
But
In what way do we help solve the problem?
I mean,
Other than making people maybe aware.
aware of the problem. I think that that's a valid first step. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bebeflapula podcast. With me is my good friend Primož Vidovič, who is doing a doctoral thesis in...
Come on, putting me on the spot like that. No PhD really knows what he's working on. I'm working on the philosophy of philosophy.
Right, okay. And of course, here is me, Aljoša. Hello.
Himself.
So today we're gonna talk about, a topic that's maybe difficult to put into one sentence, or is it? Like the general, it feels like there's a general, in society, there's a general feeling of us not wanting to be where we are right now. Like there's some...
Like right now.
No, in general. No, I like to be here. This is great. Like, look at the nature. This is a upgrade for a podcast. This is my backyard. Welcome to
Idyllic.
my backyard. Huh?
It's idyllic.
Yes. So, this seems to be a general discomfort. Oh, this was probably loud. There was probably... Okay, so there seems to be a general discomfort with the way in which society operates nowadays. Maybe a feeling of uneasiness with the way in which contemporary lives unfold. Maybe its fast pace, with its hedonism, with its apathy, detachment, maybe. So today I thought we could talk about that, like different cultural movements that try to counter that, from the resurrection of Ikigai in Japan and Higi in Denmark, and then the slow movement, like even slow, starting with slow food, right? In the 80s, when Italians were like, no, this stops, no McDonald's here. We will not let global capitalism invade our dinner table. And up to like slow cinema, slow science, slow philosophy, slow thought. So there seems to be like that discomfort, right? Like that's what we talk about a lot, like this idea that even like as academic you will have to hyper produce like papers that will just not be as valuable or good as they ought to be, because there will just be one that you have to do, and then you have to move on to another one and move on to another one, and just constantly grasp this in a fast pace, like new themes to discover, and really never take the time to truly think things through as you should have, I suppose.
Yeah, I would agree that there's in general a feeling that life is very fast-paced, too fast-paced, especially for our mental well-being. And it seems to be that everyone seems to remember some kind of a golden age when this was not the case.
Yeah.
The generation of our parents, they could do everything and they weren't overstressed. They weren't constantly trying to catch up. So I guess the question that we're going to be dealing with is, do we need to slow down
Mm-hmm.
as a society, as in the way we live our lives, in the way we do philosophy, in the way we do art, in the way we eat.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we cooked our coffee the classic Bosnian way
Yes.
in a
Yes.
jezva.
Yes, and I even I cook it 3 times over and over. Like I let
Really?
it simmer, yeah,
I
and
didn't
then
notice
again
that.
and again. Yes, yes. I do it like the
Sure.
proper slow way.
So
and
yeah, so this is not the Jerry Seinfeld way of fast-paced coffee machines in classy New York coffee shops, but it's a slow way
yeah,
of
it's
the
slow.
Balkans.
Yes, at my backyard. Welcome. Do you hear the
You can also
birds
hear
chirping?
every now and then there's a tractor passing by.
Yeah. So we already are in this
We're
environment
trying to
where
enact
of
what we
slowness.
preach.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
But yeah, I'm in an intuitive sense. I agree that we do seem to have a general agreement that we do need to slow down.
And this seems to be cross-generational. Even like kids nowadays, they say like, "Oh my God, I'm too much on the phone. My screen time is so up. I spent like hours looking at TikToks. This is horrible." But
Yeah.
there seems to be like a agreement about that something is off. And but maybe the question is, to what degree is it off, and what areas is it truly off? I guess there seems to be some disagreement. For example, slow cinema filmmakers would say that our media is too fast. The way we consume content is too fast-paced, too engaging. So we lose this sensibility towards topics that are not as engaging as things on a flashy screen, for example. So we lose this societal awareness or awareness of some problems in society because we're overstimulated by things that are much more immediate, much more hedonistic, and cannot properly. Well, there's a sense of apathy growing from that, for example.
I think you're skipping some steps now.
I am, yeah.
I think you're already going to the point towards which we perhaps could develop this, so that it's not merely a matter of speed,
Mm-hmm.
of the speed of phenomena and the way of life, but the way it's structured in general. It's filled with things.
Mm-hmm.
There's no emptiness. There's no space for events to take their meaning, for new books to be read, and so forth, because we always fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe we should stop for a moment on this very pacedness, the speed of actual how life is actually right now. Is it too fast?
Mm-hmm.
Do you yourself, for example, feel that your life is too fast? Because I think even there, we might perhaps come to conclusions opposite to the claim we initially made.
Well, I feel like it's too stuffed. What's the right word for it? Too much things are going on. Too much things taking up my attention from different sides, so I feel fractured. I lost this feeling of wholeness. For example, if I would just be a farmer over there, and just that would be my life, my calling, I would feel like, I would imagine I would feel much more whole. I would have a family, I would have a product to take care of, and that's it.
But for
But
example,
there's so many things.
even a farmer today.
Today, yeah, but
Yeah.
I meant
Yeah, in the good old days.
in the golden ages.
When you only had a bull to drag your cart, cow.
You were, yes, in connection with
Because
nature.
even farming today, just yesterday there was some farmer plowing the field or sowing something on the field next to my house, and he had this modern tractor with all the computer screens.
Oh,
Everything
what?
is optimized. Everything is planted in a mathematically precise way.
Wow, yeah.
And when you're talking to farmers today, especially those who have, I guess, more properties and so forth, and more responsibilities, I guess, and more money to be made of it, they're also in a kind of a rush. Okay, we need to get this done very quickly. We need better ways to get this done so we can
Yeah.
make more money.
I feel like this is
So,
a general thing.
yeah,
Like
it's a
not
general thing.
like even monks today. I feel like they have iPads, they have phones.
Do they?
It's more difficult. Yeah,
Really?
like I have seen that. Yeah, even like Buddhist monks, they go to, to the room and they have an iPad or something.
I,
you know?
I didn't know that.
That's yeah, like you can do that. Like you can have stuff as a monk.
Yeah.
And they do, of course they do. What else are gonna do? They're gonna pray and
Meditate.
then meditate. But then
read,
they have TV and iPad.
take care of their garden.
Especially younger monks, they have computers. They have, iPads.
Well,
as I said many times.
that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, a Buddhist monk, one would think that,
But even more so, Christian monks.
yeah.
I feel like.
Really,
I don't know where I got
because
that
the
from.
Bible
I
is
don't know.
online.
Yeah, iPad version of
Um,
Bible, graphic novel.
I mean, I guess what a Buddhist monk is trying to do is the opposite of trying to live a fast-paced, saturated life.
That is a perfect example, yeah, of a person choosing slowness as their life motto. I
But then
suppose.
you actually just pointed out that they're not
yeah.
really doing that anymore.
But okay, maybe that's a quite general claim that I made. But I mean, they have to be. They live in a modern society, in a global society. They have to, even if they don't want to, they have to like keep track of things. They have to,
Do they?
finances. I don't know.
Do they?
What?
I guess we're touching
I mean,
on a
maybe
problem here. Does anyone have to keep in touch with things as much as we
yeah,
keep in touch today?
we definitely feel that
Do
we
we
have,
really
but
need to be part of all the events and the way? Do we need to be on track
Yeah.
in a certain sense? For example, I don't know. As a child, I had no. Yeah, I'm that old. As a child, I had no phone, I guess, and I went to school, but I somehow managed to get home without having to have a phone. My parents could live with the fact that they didn't know what was going on with me for a
Yeah.
certain period. Or, for example, we went to the seaside for a trip for 5 days. My parents couldn't really reach me except through teachers, and even that was very seldom.
Yeah.
Today, that's kind of unimaginable. The moment you get somewhere, you have to be sort of updated with
Yeah,
what's
maybe the
going on.
sense of control that we gain through technology also made us dependent on this feeling of control. So we want to, it's
Yeah.
like a self-fulfilling cycle. Like you get new insight, new power, new connections, but now you feel like you cannot do without them. Well, maybe that is a important part of, I suppose, what we could be talking about.
I mean, I think we could boil this down to the question of whether our lives are actually objectively more fast-paced, or I mean more in the sense, do we have more things to do and more requirements are made of us, just the way society works, or is it simply a change of the way we interpret our lives and try to control them?
I mean, I would think it's primarily neither of those, but rather the fact that there's so much diverse, stimulating stuff going on in our lives that didn't used to go on, like with TV, with phones, with computers, with also societal events, like as people, get like like I've seen that in like urban areas, like the young people just there's events after events like just happening all the time, and there's a rise of hedonism. People just need stronger and stronger stimulants, I suppose, in those areas. I mean, that's also a general claim to make, but the idea, what I'm trying to say, is like okay, I lost my train of thought. What was
I wonder if this saturation with phones and all the different things we seem to need, was this really entirely, I guess, an artificial need created by certain companies that offer these gadgets to us, and then now we sort of need them? Or did a kind of change in our relationship to the world and the way we want to manage our lives precede this, and these devices merely filled or started to play the role of filling our lives.
So you mean
Or
like
to put
certain
another way,
ideas or
do
ideologies?
we need to control our lives? Do we have this feeling of having to control our lives in a very fast environment? Because, again, as I said before, because of objective factors, because the way the world has changed in the way it works, or do we want to control things, and that's why the world changed?
Mm-hmm. Well, why would we want to control things? Do you think that's like an ideological like component, or just a general human nature?
I think it's. I mean, I wouldn't separate those things necessarily.
No, because like you see across cultures now that it seems to be universal. The fast pace
course.
and
I think it's part of human nature.
Mhm.
I think it's the trajectory that the human species have followed since the beginning of times, which
Mhm.
we want to control we have the ability to control our environment, and so we must control it to feel secure in our environments. And we invented increasingly sophisticated means of doing so by way of technology.
Mhm.
It started with simple things like religions that try to put some kind of systems in the structures
Mhm.
on the world. And today I think it culminates in technology itself, where technology itself becomes the framework of meaning and actually a concrete tool by way of which we can come to control life.
Mhm.
But I guess the problem with part of the problem is that the tool we chose and the way we try to do this control is actually kind of it undermines us.
Mhm.
We try to control the world in a way that actually makes it more unmanageable. So, for example, we wanted to keep in touch with each other. We invented phones, and suddenly there was a need to keep in touch because you had the ability, but you feel, in a certain sense, more separate from one another
Mhm.
because there's this ability, and I'm not making use of it. I do even more extremely social media.
Mhm.
Before social media, I had absolutely no need to keep in touch with anybody when
Mhm.
I'm at home. I don't know. As a child, again, I came home from school. That was the end of. I wasn't talking to my friends. Sometimes on the phone maybe,
Mm.
but I was just playing in the yard or something,
Yeah.
finding things to do. Now I come home from. I guess I'm meeting with a friend now, and then I come home. I have to check. Did someone write to me? I feel disconnected.
Mhm.
I didn't experience that. I don't think I did, but I do know that children today also feel this disconnect.
Yeah.
There's a strong social pressure to keep in touch, to keep to so to summarize, to be in control of something that we didn't need before.
Mhm. Yeah. I see. Um. Yeah. That's probably. Now thinking now, there's this pressure that I felt when I like downgraded my phone. It was horrible. Like I genuinely like it's so great to have a smartphone. Like now that I have it for a year,
This is the best thing.
it's the best thing because anytime I feel like I don't know some thoughts creeping up like that I don't like, I can
Or just bored.
or just bored, I can just open my phone and be
You have a
connected to my
device to
friends.
debore you.
Yeah, and I can see the lives of my friends. I can talk to them. I can send memes. I can see what they send to
The
me.
most important thing.
Yeah, and it's great. And I really miss that when I downgraded to a regular phone. And like in general, like I feel like yeah, I was so happy to have a smartphone when I had it. Like, and now I have it for a year, and now I feel like it would be impossible to go back to a regular phone, like a dumb phone,
But
from this
a lot of people
attitude.
say that phones make them unhappy.
Yeah.
I think it's a general thing to say
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We've discovered that phones have negative side effects, that they make
Yeah.
me unhappy. Are they just in denial?
Yeah, of the true happiness that they bring, right?
Maybe yeah, like you said, if they didn't have phone, maybe they'd be unhappier.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Yeah. Like it's a
I mean,
don't
we
know.
can try, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a dopamine rush, right? To open your phone, that can't be good, or can it? Like to have a thing that can always, supply you happiness when you need it. Is it not better to not have this supply, to be condemned to be unhappy and happy, and learn to be happy without it? That's probably the true problem with phones. It makes us dependent on an external thing, and the more you rely on it, it's like it seems there seems to be I feel discomfort at the idea that I now feel like I need my phone, especially because once I go on my phone, I get immediately overstimulated by like I just I want to open an app to talk to my friends, but instead I get recommended 10 videos, short videos, and then I watch that before, and then completely I've been stimulated, and all my thoughts, ideas that I was thinking before I opened my phone are now overflowed by this stimuli, and it's like a mechanism to just push down whatever you truly feel, whatever you truly think, whatever truly nags you or truly is important to you. You can just numb yourself at any time. And if you look at that as a societal like practice, that's basically Huxley's vision of the world, is it not?
Yeah,
With the Soma in Brave New World.
I'd agree. Yeah. Um, Maybe if we try to tie this back to speed.
To speed, yeah, like probably that's then the answer. If you learn to be slow again, you learn to live without this stimulation, without this numbing stimuli.
But I guess what we've now come to conclude is that technology, as for example phones, were a way of us trying to control our lives better, but now they actually make us feel less in control
Mm-hmm.
because the tool has become greater than the master or its creator in a certain sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just overwhelming, and you don't feel in control. I don't know what is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I can relate.
Uh,
Yeah, you see I don't. What is the
jeez.
English name for
It was
this?
an amazing
Rooster.
idea.
Oh, really?
I lost it.
Before the rooster will squeak 3 times.
Oh yeah. Here.
Ah,
He's booing me.
yeah. But like I see like different practices, like slow food, slow thought, slow cinema as
Okay,
practices.
yeah, sorry. I'm
This
going to
teach
interrupt
us
you.
how to okay, yes, they teach us how to live
Uh,
slowly.
So the pace has become too fast, and we can't control things anymore. But when we're trying to slow things down, we are in a certain sense trying to regain control.
Mm-hmm.
Or are we? Or are we in fact letting go of control
When?
when we're taking it slower?
Mm-hmm.
Is this slow movement? I
It's
think
both,
I
I
think there's
think.
a certain contradiction here,
Yeah.
or which is productive, I guess, that in trying to control life, we have to let go
Yeah.
of control,
Yes,
and in this manner, we will actually control it more.
yes, you
It will
have
be
to.
more manageable.
Yes, you have to demolish ideas of how much you can control your life, because if that's overblown, you're gonna be in a constant state of micromanagement and anxiety. And I suppose if you learn to let go of control, you are indeed more in control, because you don't cling to things that are well, you don't cling to impulses that turn out to be destructive, right? So I suppose if you truly learn to live slowly, you learn to live without stimuli. It's it's an effective protest against the lives, the way contemporary lives are structured around like consumerism, which is basically a very similar thing to opening your phone in general, like buying things to fill the void, or just engaging in because like engaging with a market that is designed in order to constantly flush you with new stimuli make you dependent, or I need more, and there's this hyper production and then a hyper consuming on things, and all of that, I suppose, numbs us to our sensitivity. I think that would be my claim, our sensitivity towards things that we all more or less agree that are the truly important things in life, like interpersonal connections and like being true or authentic to your desires in life. Like
Okay,
if
you're making some very
is it? I don't know.
very
That's
adventurous claims.
that's how I feel like that the modern fast-paced lifestyle, yeah, numbs our sensibilities. That is my main that is my main reason why I'm so attracted to like slow movements, because I feel like they enable me to duck out the noise and be in tune with what's, I guess, more important.
I think the problem becomes when you try to pin down that which is supposedly more important.
That's the job of philosophy, right?
And if we open up this question, we start to we move into the terrain that we explored in the first podcast.
Yeah.
So you're saying the current concept of mankind is kind of flawed,
Mm-hmm.
of this creature desperately trying to control its existence and its world in a manner which actually makes it harder to control.
Mm-hmm.
But then what is the thing that we're trying to replace it with?
I suppose a void in meaning, right? I suppose like you need this. Okay, that would be another claim, I suppose. You need a narrative in life, right? A sensible narrative of who you are and where you're going.
I agree, and
we don't have
you
that.
need meaningful relationships in a certain sense, like you said, and you need to be able to appreciate a movie rather than just letting it flow past before you even have any contemplation of it and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things seem good, but I think if you accept those things and then you try to pursue them and you start slow,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to end up fast again.
Why? How?
Because I think that's how it started. I mean, we all wanted to have meaningful relationships. We all wanted to have meaningful books,
But
rather
we
than
cling
just
to
filler material.
an answer that turned out to be destructive or false, right? It was like now we can approach the same quest with an awareness that fastness, the overstimulation, or whatever we are doing now in contemporary lives is not the answer. So we will not make the same mistake, will we?
How will you prevent that?
Prevent what? From going into lives?
From the speed accelerating again.
I mean, it's a...
Say I want to have more meaningful relationships, and so I reduce the amount of relationships I have, focus on the ones that are really quality, give my attention to the people I'm talking to and so forth. And I mean, will this be enough? Because, for example, if I have less friends, I'll be reliable on a fewer people that are not going to always be available.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to actually lack the meaningful relationships. They're not going to be there for me all the time. And so I'll start to try to find new friends. And then I'll try to have as many meaningful relationships as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll see that everyone is doing the same thing. They're trying to have few quality relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, because we kind of can't really rely, especially in the way we generally live today, we are separated by great distances and so forth. I think you're ultimately forced down the same road towards, I guess, quantity and saturation. I mean, why did we start to pursue a multitude of friendships? Why did we go from, I guess, some presumed model of quality relationships, if that as such ever existed, towards this general. Oh, I have dozens of friends. For example, it used to not be strange to say I have like 2-3 good friends.
Mm.
Today, everyone has a lot of good friends. Everyone is their good friend. When you're describing someone, he's like, you described me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I really on the same level as all the other good
Yeah, I see. Of course you are.
I don't know where I was going
but
with
but
this.
I'm not sure if I follow like
Yeah,
how
me
this
neither.
would yeah, if that would really be such a like are we not like if we take like this approach of just slowing down, just having less, would that really be condemned to be, become fast again in the sense that you just said? Because like with this, like let's say that we agree, yeah, let's have less but quality relationships. I mean, you are going to have less than people around you, and it will make a difference for you. Like you will improve in relation to people that do not chase less but more intense relationships, I suppose. I mean, you never know because
Won't that leave a void?
I mean the same void as I felt when I downgraded from my smartphone.
Yeah, you said it made you unhappier in the end.
But no, it wasn't really I mean, it was less. I don't know. Like
I mean, you downgraded,
if
and you
if
describe it as a downgrade
yeah.
rather than saying
No,
it's an upgrade.
it's a technological downgrade. but
And
I don't know
and
if
now we're talking
unhappiness
about a
is the right.
friendship downgrade.
Huh? Uh-huh.
There's this implication that there's a kind of downgrade here
Mm-hmm.
happening. But I guess the question is if this is just a matter of words,
Mm-hmm.
or if we do actually think. I mean, at this point, you do need a multitude of friends to be happy. You need You need to watch a lot of movies to have the same satisfaction that's maybe perhaps once you could have from one movie a month.
Mm.
Can you really go back just by slowing things down
I mean,
artificially?
it must be a start, no? I really feel like I don't know. Whenever I watch, for example, if I start my day by watching a 2 hour slow meditative movie, I feel like the whole day is different. I feel more.
You start your you start your days by watching slow meditative movies.
Some days, yes, and it's a great way to start the day. I feel so full of energy, so mindful, appreciative of the people around me. I feel like there's like if you compare that, if waking up and going on your phone and spending 1 hour on TikTok by mistake, or watching or going for a walk in the morning into the like nature, or like watching a slow movie, I feel like I feel so much more happy. I feel so much more in tune with the people around me, and this is a thing that I can do. I can choose to slow down a certain period of my day, and as a consequence, my whole experience of the day is gonna be more mindful, more mindful, especially more mindful. I mean, that's not necessarily a value by itself, but it
Yeah.
leads to
I think
feelings of happiness.
you've touched on what I'm trying to point towards here. That this slowness is really just a means of getting to something else, which you named mindfulness in this case.
But maybe it leaves it open a little bit, what that thing should be, because like we can identify. I feel like the general idea here is that we identify a problem in modern society, and like in our realms of like from science to art to everyday relationships to content to media to news, we sense a sort of problem, and we try to pinpoint what could be the formula or the what could be a characteristic that all of these things share in common, and we see that the problem, whatever it is, it seems to be connected with the fast-pacedness of this thing. So we do the opposite, even though we leave it, I suppose, open to what exactly it should be, but we see that
Do we really leave it that open? Or isn't the goal pretty similar in all the different areas? For example, food.
I mean,
You go from this model of mindless eating in McDonald's
yeah.
to mindful eating of quality food. You go from uh, thousands of philosophy articles, academic articles
Mm-hmm.
that you can't really read deeply, mindfully, to reading a couple mindfully.
But maybe certain people that start this movement, or they can have an idea what it is that they want, but I feel like the attractiveness of the whole movement comes from the fact that it is not in general that determined what exactly it should be that we are chasing with slowness, I think. So that's why so many different people from different areas, from different I suppose goals, can identify themselves with that movement.
I mean, I agree with the general sentiment, and I find the idea of slowing down attractive in a certain sense, especially in some regards, maybe not so much in others. But what I guess I've been trying to get at through this whole meandering conversation is that I don't think we're quite clear on the goals.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this slowness supposed to get us towards? And I didn't read much about the movement, just a couple articles. It seems to be pretty a mix of very different things of what we're trying to achieve. There's that Aeon article with the manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all Mikhail Bakhtin, Socrates peripatetic walks.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of different ideas, but I don't know what like the anti-capitalism,
Mm-hmm. That's a big one,
good
yeah.
parenting. There's a lot of different ideas
Mm-hmm.
in here, and I guess practically speaking, maybe that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
It'll actually get us to a better place. But I think we also need to consider, as philosophers, I guess, trying to make sense
Mm-hmm.
of this movement, is what we're actually trying to get towards. Are we trying to get to a general, greater, mindful, a generally more mindful approach to the different things we do? In which case, we need to discuss what mindfulness really is,
Mm-hmm.
and is it always or necessarily such a great, amazing thing, or a superior value to some other values?
Mm-hmm.
And if not, what is the end goal?
Maybe it's difference in goals from area to area. Maybe the fast nature of the contemporary versions of different areas of lives have different consequences. So different movements in different areas of life have different means, different goals that they want to achieve. For example, you can even see that I'm back at slow cinema. You can see that in different slow cinema movies, they have completely different goals. Like, for example, a Buddhist slow movie will want to make you mindful, but a ecological slow movie will want to bring forth a appreciation of nature in the viewer that is lost because we are
Appreciation
not.
of nature, but is that not mindfulness?
I don't know. Maybe, but the mindfulness is not a goal by itself, I suppose, in that context.
Okay, so mindfulness is
A means to
even
an end.
mindfulness is a means to something something else.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Could mindfulness be the common goal of all slow cinema? I suppose it has to be, yeah. But they differ about why mindfulness is a important thing. For example, a Buddhist would obviously say it's important because it breaks the cycle of suffering and happiness. But an ecologist would say it's important.
Buddhism is pretty clear
that.
on why it wants mindfulness.
Yeah. So ecologists are too.
We on the other hand, we
are not. Yeah. Let's see.
There, I think that's where the.
But maybe that could also be
potential
open,
issue
right? It could be like, different people are trying to instill mindfulness in people for different reasons, and
But
that's probably true.
That's kind of fishy.
Fishy.
We have this mindfulness, and everyone is trying to do it, but everyone for their own reason, and like.
I mean,
is there really some kind of a philosophy behind that, or is it just like
philosophy of pluralism, no?
yeah
No, but there has to be. That's a sketch. That's just a skeptic move. We don't know. It's
yeah,
basically the
yeah.
answer of
Let-
pluralism. Yeah.
a Pascal bet on mindfulness. And,
Yeah.
Like it might lead to good things, and why not do it in a certain sense?
But probably mindfulness is not always the answer that they are looking for or the goal. For example, slow science. I don't think mindfulness is what they're trying to do.
What
but
is
rather an increase
instead?
in quality of work by enabling. I think that's an idea that structurally institutions should shy away. That's not a good word. Just back away from this pressure of constant academic publishing
To achieve what?
to achieve a greater quality in works, because now
And how do
people,
you achieve that?
by giving people time to actually work
And
on the
what
things
will
they
this
want
time
to
give the people?
do. Mindfulness. It's really mindfulness studies. It's even studying mindfulness.
If you have more time to write an article and you're not pressed for time, and you can really do it mindfully. You're not just typing away.
It's not a very broad term. I mean, broad
You-
sense of the
Maybe
term
let's not
mindfulness.
use mindfulness directly. You can devote your attention to it.
So maybe it's about attention.
But what is mindfulness about?
Attention to the present moment. So maybe attention should be a more general. Because that's like
Yeah.
an interesting claim. For example, there's I don't know where that's from, but some people argue the contemporary crisis of attention spans is not really a crisis of attention spans, because, for example, a kid will not engage in a book the way we used to, but he will be able to play a video game for 7 hours straight without interruption. And some people would argue, children don't have shorter attention spans, they have just different interests, and today's crisis is not a crisis of attention spans but a crisis of interest. That ties back to what we just said. How? Why did I say that?
I mean, because we were thinking about maybe attention is the thing.
Maybe
we're actually
attention
trying
is
to
the
improve
thing.
here.
Yes. Why is interest important
But
here?
I think if you put it like that, then it's a bit even clearer that we're not really sure what we're going to get at. So
Yeah.
the reason science should slow down is because we want to improve the attention of scientists, the attention spans of scientists. I mean, yeah, I guess, but for the real goal is something else, to improve science.
To improve the quality of paper. Yeah.
But then the real thing is some kind of a criteria, which don't directly have to do with slowness.
So maybe if you have this goal, you can then go back. Like, we should slow it down so that we reach this goal, and stop arguing that we just need slowness for slowness sake.
Yeah, I mean, you said the example of a Buddhist slow movie
Mm-hmm.
and a more ecologically minded. The Buddhist probably really wants slowness because he ultimately wants to slow down his existence to
break the cycle of
to break the
samsara.
cycle to nothing in a certain sense.
Mm.
The ecologist probably wants you to have a more ecological relationship with your environment
Mm-hmm.
and to do something about it, and to actually improve concrete things in the way you treat
Mm-hmm.
or demand of politicians to treat the planet, nature. Now I've lost my.
We're doing so great.
We're kind of demented. The fast-pacedness of this podcast that's ruining us.
Yeah. So okay.
The
we go
problem
back
is that
to
I think there are different goals across these different areas.
yeah.
Slowness could, perhaps is a good way to achieve those goals. But I think to tie back to the point, I guess I was somehow trying to make earlier.
Yeah, that as
on
philosophers we have to
is that if you
say what exactly it is that we are trying to
is that if you don't know
achieve.
this,
Mm.
if you don't have this goal in sight,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like a Buddhist does, then you risk just let's have a fad, slow movement, everything
Mm-hmm.
does everything slowly. Like we had a fad with meditation or and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point you see that maybe because your goal is maybe slowness is not the best way to achieve your goal at a particular time,
Yeah, I see. I see.
and you just speed things up,
Yeah.
and then you're just again at the starting point
Okay, that makes
after
sense to me.
some time. And
Okay.
but I think a more difficult question is what is it we are actually aiming towards.
Mm-hmm. I see. So we are
And
not Buddhists. So that's one thing.
I mean, I'm not.
Neither am I.
The Buddhist goals kind of they don't interest me.
Yeah, me neither. So that's,
Um,
we can do like a negative classification. We just talk about what we don't want to achieve until we come towards what we do want to achieve. So
yeah,
I
I've said this in the previous episode. The thing that repels me from Buddhism is that
it's life denying.
it's life denying.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think what the slow movement really wants is to affirm life.
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting. For me, mindfulness is such a life-affirming thing, right? You are present in the moment. You are truly living
mindfulness
life.
divorced from a specific religious context can be that
Yeah.
life affirming. Not always. We could also discuss that in another podcast. But I would agree that being in the present moment, that for example, I don't know, talking to a friend and really paying your attention, that's accepting life and giving it your attention and letting life blossom in a certain sense, rather than just waiting for the next thing you're going to do.
Yeah. So maybe mindfulness is like, I'm trying to think like, why am I, for example, so attracted to the slow movement, especially through art, through slow cinema, and maybe, I mean, as I said, like it is this feeling of mindfulness. That feeling is important to me because it makes me like usually I'm the opposite. I'm especially when I'm at home, I'm trying to think about what I have to do, about the things that I need to do during the day, and I'm just absent. I'm absent from the moment. I'm absent from the people around me because I'm lost in my thoughts. I don't stop to look around me, take a breath, appreciate, for example, what a beautiful day today is. And slow movies teach me to do that. They motivate me to do that. They bring me into a sense of state of mind where I'm able to do that. And I suppose I value that because this feels like a life-affirming thing to do. And conversely, my workaholic phases feel like life negating life. Yeah, they feel like I'm just working on some projects to distract myself from something, I suppose.
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel like slow movements can be a way towards a path towards life affirmative life
affirmation.
Affirmation. Thank you. Okay, I was about to say life affirmativeness.
Yeah, I guess
That's
works
maybe
as well.
also a adverb. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a valid reason to advocate slowing down for, to reach by way of a more mindful attitude that is enabled by slowing down and making space for things. I think the Japanese have a concept. I don't know the word. I read something else,
Really?
ma or something like that. There's a word for it. I don't know. It's basically a concept to, I think, describe the empty space necessary for something to blossom.
And I think it's nu. Nu.
Nu. Okay.
Oh, actually, somebody in the comments is about to, wreck me over there. Like, what? What are you saying? You have no idea. But okay, so it doesn't matter.
Whatever, this concept.
Yeah, this concept.
I think that's very valid. I think because that is lacking. and it also is related to what bothers me personally. I'm not so much bothered at this point, although it has bothered me in the past by having too many things
Mhm.
and not being able to be attentive to them.
Mhm.
I think I'm still relatively attentive to the things I do. I'm more concerned in the wider sense. For example, as a philosopher or as an artist, you're trying to create things that people will, in a certain sense, appreciate. But everyone is creating things so fast and
Mhm.
so frequently today that there is no space left for your work to
Mhm.
occupy and to be able to blossom.
Mhm.
And I think it's very difficult to even start creating in a certain sense the
Y-
moment you realize this.
You feel like hyper production makes it unable for it takes away the need for supply with
Yeah,
cheap noise.
yeah. There's just so much noise that you can't hear particular things
Mhm.
anymore, and that's demotivating for an artist and a philosopher. For
Mhm.
example, I don't know. A while ago, I was writing an article about self-help, and we
Mhm.
discussed that topic last time. And then, like just last day, just before I sent it out, I found that someone had written a very similar arguments in a book
Mhm.
already. So this space I was trying to fill, it was actually already filled.
And that's in Slovenian.
No, it's not Slovene, so
Oh, okay.
that's a consoling part.
Yeah, that's the okay. Yeah.
But
Because
generally
globally
speaking,
everything is already out there.
yeah.
Even us talking is already
Um,
out there on YouTube.
like
That's
Borges said, I remember, for a book to be written, it is enough for it to be possible.
uh-huh. Yeah, I see.
Um,
Is that from the
and
Alexandria?
I
How do you
think it's a
say?
footnote to the Library of Babel.
Library of Babel. Yeah, that's what.
Um, and now you lost me again.
Ah, there I go again.
Jeez.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like with this.
Yeah, concretely in I don't know. I guess Slovenia. I just had an article on the same topic published,
Mhm.
and it's published in journal that's very hard to get access to,
Mhm.
and I don't think anybody is going to read it because they're going to read something else.
Mhm.
There is not enough empty space because it's so
Yeah,
filled
I see.
for people to go to this effort
Mhm.
to get to this journal
Mhm.
and hopefully my article.
Mhm.
And so my reasons for the slow movement are very selfish
Yeah, like if anybody would be
and very
mandated
concrete.
to only write one article per year, it would be less articles, and they would be much more. Uh, the quality of those
Yeah,
articles would be much higher,
yeah.
right? It's like even in
For s-
poetry, for example,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Slovenia has a massive problem in
Mhm.
hyper production of poetry. There's so many collections of poems that's like if you publish it, like it's like yikes.
Mhm. Maybe if we use a very concrete example, interviews with well-known people, I guess celebrities, for example,
Like podcasts.
whatever,
Yeah.
like journal in
In general.
newspapers,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
magazines, websites, whatever,
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah. So what we're doing right now
So you had
with famous people,
uh,
minus the famous people, and minus the interesting.
minus the people.
Yeah.
Uh, it used to be that if, for example, someone had an interview with Frank Sinatra, that was an event that everybody read that,
Yeah.
and it was in a very specific magazine, Playboy,
Yeah.
and you really had to get that to get to that interview.
Yeah.
Today, for you, like Jerry Seinfeld just released his movie Unfrosted, or I think it's going to be released in a couple days.
Is that the
whatever.
prequel to the Seinfeld?
No,
series?
it's
Ah, okay.
unrelated. It's a
okay.
movie he made.
Okay.
He was a guest on a gazillion podcasts, for example, on YouTube.
Yeah.
every magazine, every newspaper, everyone he's talking about it.
Yeah.
To watch all this,
Yeah.
what do I watch?
Yeah.
It's just everything is filled to the point that all your choices, what you're going to actually read, are in the end pretty arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
They might be motivated by dumb stuff like, oh, the thumbnail looks better.
Yeah, I see.
Oh,
Yeah.
the title is more clickbaited.
Mm.
And if we did slow down, okay, we don't need that much content.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really need to have all these interviews? Which I think would be very hard to do concretely, as we spoke at some point. But I think we're not going to be able to touch in this episode.
Because the problem is that even we would want to have Jerry Seinfeld over here and ask him about
and we're
the films,
making
right?
a podcast.
And
who
we're making
who
a
the
podcast,
hell
yeah.
wants another podcast?
Yeah, that's true.
Some two random guys
two random
in
dudes
the middle of
in
nowhere
my backyard who have trouble with English and
and the
trying
only
to
reason
philosophize.
anyone is going to watch this
yeah,
video is arbitrary.
yeah,
Like just
yeah.
they happen to stumble upon it.
yeah.
Something caught their attention. Maybe they
Uh,
watched your previous videos.
yeah, that
That's
should be
not
the
so
intro.
arbitrary, I guess, but
But still,
they could
yeah,
watch
yeah.
something else.
Yeah, or they could open up YouTube 10 minutes later and this
Exactly,
video won't be
and
over
miss
there.
this video.
Yeah. So it's very random, I suppose.
So let me just check the time.
Yeah, okay. So in the meantime, let me thank our sponsor of the videos today. There is no sponsor, but you have to have this segment
Which
in the
coffee are we
podcast to
drinking?
make it. Oh yeah,
the-
a Slovenian coffee, which I will not name until they give me the money. But we are drinking coffee, and it is Slovenian, and there is a opportunity for a certain Slovenian company to have a advertisement over there, right? Over here, I mean. So
anyway, so
so back
we-
to
we
the
have-
podcast.
We have 4 minutes.
What 4 minutes? What do you
till
mean?
a full hour.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we can just open up this last topic. Say that we have managed to convince people in this roundabout way of that of the fact that life is very fast-paced and that it causes certain issues. That it might be a good idea to slow things down, just to get to a more mindful state and to create more empty space for things to be able to come into being and to blossom and to be given attention. How do you actually do that?
Well, my way is to go on more walks and watch slow movies. And I don't know, for me it works. I actually feel like
Just
I
from
I
from a
spend less time on
consumer's
my
perspective.
well, you stop, you have a garden, you go off the grid. No, but really,
like we said, we're making a podcast now.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we make more empty space and just not do this? Do
I
we
don't
really
think
need
it's
to do
about
this?
empty space. It's about maybe we should have more content that is slower, that is thoughtful, that is
Boring.
No, but still, like, okay, what is the real reason why I'm making podcast? It is not to entertain the viewer.
Maybe we should be less
or-
entertaining than we are.
yeah, it is not like what is the true intention of this podcast. It is for us to have a space to talk, to
We
have
don't
our
actually care
ideas,
about the viewers.
to have a memory of a moment, to have this potential that maybe somebody will like us, and maybe somebody will like us, and consequently, maybe someday we will be able to have something out of this endeavor that we talk anyways. So it is in a large degree, it is for us and our desires what we want to do in life, right? And that's the
I
problem,
think
because
that's-
everybody has these
Everybody's
desires,
doing it like that.
and everybody's doing it like that, and
because we live in a global world
mm,
and we can communicate with each other across boundaries via English, which is not our mother language, as you might have missed.
what is the
What?
man saying over there?
So yeah, everyone is doing it. Everyone can do it,
Mm.
and I don't know how you would stop that. Like
The
concretely,
hyperproduction.
we should have not made this podcast
I mean, or we should
unless we're trying to spread the message and let the other guys stop making podcasts.
yeah
Because ours is important.
yeah, but I mean, somebody has to make the podcast. So maybe it's up for maybe
Maybe
everybody
the
can
millions
try.
of other people and not us.
Maybe 1 million of people can try, and then if some have, what it's like, ideas that matter, that people recognize as important, they should have, the podcast. Like we can idealistically, yes, we should make this podcast, but concretely we should have, like, there's so much things out there of people who have, I'd suppose, ideas that are not that constructive or not that beneficial, or even
ours are.
and like we cannot know. Maybe it is destructive what we are saying, but it doesn't feel that way, and we have at least
not
a reason.
destructive, it's
We have a
just-
reason to believe that our ideas are constructive, at least because you are a PhD philosophy.
But
I'm a master in
I don't think there's a
philosophy.
doubt of that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think we need to doubt that we are constructive.
We need to
And
doubt, but
much-
at least
no,
we have
no, we
reason.
don't need to.
Oh, we don't need to.
Sure, we are constructive. Why not?
Yeah.
And a lot of other people are constructive as well. We are trying to. We
Yeah,
are all
I
trying to
don't
be
feel
constructive, but the
destructive, yeah.
result of us trying to be constructive
Is destructive?
is
Maybe.
not. No, I don't know if it's destructive, but it's creates a saturated
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff, and then you have a fast-paced lifestyle.
Yeah.
So we are part of the problem.
But
In what way do we help solve the problem,
I mean,
other than making people maybe aware?
aware of the problem. I think that that's a valid first step, as is, for example, I love the fact that there's like hundreds of slow movies now that I can watch and meditate and slow myself down. It helps me to counter the saturation or the overstimulation that I'm getting from all the other sources in life. So I think if you make content that aligns with the general goal that you see societies should be aiming for, then you are, I suppose, how do
Yeah.
you say, justified
I
in
think
doing that.
that's- I
No?
think this is a slightly vain position.
Vain? What does that mean?
Like
Unfruitful?
self-flattering. We are doing
Oh.
a good thing. Like
Yeah.
and every artist thinks that
Yeah.
he needs to make his song because
Yeah.
it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And
But-
I'm not sure if you can just. I mean, you can, I guess, justify what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but you are going to be part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I like the direction you took earlier on better when you said that we're just two guys talking.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the liberating point,
Mm-hmm.
that rather than being fixated on some kind of a viewership or trying to make a giant change, we're just doing something for its own sake.
For its own sake, but still we are saturating the market.
We are saturating the market, but we are doing something for its own sake and inviting people to, I guess, join us if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And in this manner, we are like we're not trying to jinx people into following some very fast-paced, super entertaining, fake
Mm-hmm.
conversation or something. We're just talking. We had no idea what we were going to discuss earlier
still
on.
have
We
no
just want to
idea.
discuss this thing
Yeah,
and
yeah.
open it up to other people if they maybe want to join and
Mm.
hear us talk, just like you talk to someone in the market.
Mm.
In
That's-
an-
yeah.
in ancient
as
Greece.
you do. Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah, I see. That's maybe a more modest,
Yeah.
modest and honest view.
Yeah,
on the
that's
whole thing?
grandiose.
That's grandiose, yes. But
It is
And we
saturating market, but
but
I-
it is not completely like egocentrical, I suppose, to do that. Like we are still aware that it is not completely, or at least that the ideas that we are sharing, they prove to be constructive to us, and we share them to people because we genuinely believe that if somebody is gonna tune in and watch it, it will be constructive to them, right?
Mhm.
So it is not completely egocentrical. It is mainly egocentrical, but it has this component
I'm not
where
sure
we
if
can
it's
flatter ourselves a little bit,
so
no?
egocentrical.
Huh?
I think isn't it more egocentrical to pretend you're going to really help people? Like I guess you
I
meant
mean,
egocentrical in the
depends-
sense that we're talking just to talk to each other. But
Depends on the sense of
but,
it.
but it's, I mean, we could argue that it's the opposite of egocentrical.
Uh-huh.
We're not trying to
To be the center of anything for people to enjoy. We are just
and
a small part of the noise.
We're just talking,
yeah.
And I think maybe that's in the context of podcasts. Maybe enough. I don't know.
But why did we bother to bring out these microphones, the camera, the everything? Even this table wasn't here. Like, why did we bother to manufacture this and like talk in front of a camera and record everything? And I'm gonna edit it, and we're gonna have work with that.
Exhibitionists.
So
we just want people to hear us.
Just regardless if it helps, if it.
We have nothing to offer. Just, we want enjoy being watched as we talk.
Yeah, though, I believe that it is not so. Maybe it is egocentric to say that you have something valuable to say. Narcissistic, but really, is it always narcissistic to say you have something?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that. Because I'm a narcissist. No, I feel like
You're such a narcissist that you think your ideas transcend your how much you like yours.
But I feel like such a humble guy who just likes to.
The humble guy.
Just a humble guy who likes to read philosophy and think a lot about stuff.
I mean narcissist in a very broad sense. I think every artist, everyone who tries to
so broad that it
everyone who tries to publish something likes himself enough to think that he can be admired by others.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's necessary for the people to admire us. I don't feel like they're gonna.
I just use the Slovene word.
I just derailed you completely with that comment. Ja, v resnici ne vem več, kaj govoriš. Whoops. Angleščina.
That's how we talk here. Anyway,
tako govorimo.
I think we're reaching the point at which we need to stop pretending that people still are getting some kind of a value from listening to this.
Maybe this jazz could do a better job of having this podcast than we are.
And end it.
Admit that it's for us.
Yeah.
For me and you. I will not. It is mainly for me and you, but I still feel like somebody could watch this and be like, oh, these idiots, but it's nice. That was nice.
Yeah. That's the life goals. Philosophers. Just get someone to listen to you and say, oh,
idiot. But it's nice.
Yeah, but it's nice. The Zizek approach. Okay, I guess this is a good point too.
Yeah, good point to wrap up. Yes, thank you everyone for watching this podcast. With me again was Primož, my good friend, and me, Aljoša. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. See you next time.
Yeah, this is the point where we realized that we didn't record or something.